4 years ago yesterday, we went into the doctor for our normal exam, and they were looking for the heartbeat, and they couldn't find it. They looked for a long time and were unable to detect a heartbeat. So we went in the next day, and they had to induce me, and I had to basically go through the entire labor process to deliver a child that I knew was no longer with us. And so then on about somewhere in the afternoon, mid-morning, we delivered her and got to hold her for the first and last time. So,
if you can, let's, in our memory, let's go back to when you were in the checkup room and when they cannot find the pulse, the heartbeat of your child. And just for context, how far along were you with that regular checkup?
It's 23 weeks.
What's going on?
I don't know. I just, I don't even know what I felt at that point. Like, this can't be happening. This isn't right. And I just broke down and just sobbed. This can't be happening. Why is this happening? So
I just kind of went numb for a minute.
Yeah.
But when they couldn't find the heartbeat the first couple times, like Sonja said, we knew that they had always had trouble with this pregnancy finding a heartbeat right away. So once the nurse practitioner came in and she couldn't find it, and then she said, "Oh, let's just do the sonogram." Sonja's back was actually to the screen, but I was facing the screen because I was holding Sonja's hand. And when the baby popped up on the sonogram, I saw she wasn't moving. So I knew before Sonja knew. And I was just sitting there just like, what does this mean? What do we do? And then the doctor came in and told us that Sela had passed. And Sonja immediately started crying, and I still was just kind of numb. I was holding Sonja, but my mind was racing, like, what do I do now? You know, my first instinct as the man is, I got to make sure Sonja's okay. I got to make sure that the kids are okay. Like, all right, I'll deal with me later, but let me be there for her. And then that just kind of lingered. You know, we stayed in the room for probably 15, 20 minutes, just trying to get ourselves together. And Sonja had actually picked me up from work to go to the appointment. So I said, well, let's just go home. She was like, no, let's go get your car. I'll be fine, and just come home. So I went to the office, got my truck, and went to the house. And by the time I got to the house, Sonja had already made it there, and I think the kids were there too. So
we didn't tell the kids.
We didn't tell them yet.
Yeah.
We had made that decision beforehand, just so we wanted to figure out if we were going to.
What are our options?
Yeah. So we hadn't told them yet, and we just kind of were letting them do normal evening stuff, you know, play around and figure out what dinner was. And so I'm just trying to take care of everything, but I still had this kind of numbness, and I was trying to give her a little space to just kind of process it herself. So
what is that like when you go home and you're trying to provide a sense of consistency and normalcy for your children, but you're carrying this? What is that like? As you think back on it, what are some things that come to mind?
I think in my mind, it's still kind of like numb, like he said, like, this can't be happening. And honestly, in the back of my mind, I thought, we're going to get to the hospital. They're going to do another ultrasound, and they're going to be wrong.
Yeah.
They're going to be wrong, and that she's actually going to still be alive. I think I still had that in my mind for a long time.
We both did for a while there.
Yeah. I just remember almost pleading and begging that this wasn't happening. Like, my God, please just let her be alive. Let her be alive. I'm like, let this not happen. So I didn't understand. I was just angry, upset, disappointed. Made me really doubt my faith. And and think, is God even listening to my prayers?
What else did you feel?
I just felt like hopeless and just heartbroken, and why? Just kept asking why over and over. Why is this happening?
What about you, Nick? What comes to mind thinking about this same time frame?
It was, my thought process was different. I never really had faith concerns or anything like that. I was still my faith was still full. I was just more so in fight or flight mode. Like, what does Sonja need? How can I help Sonja? How can I help the kids? It was never anything about me, right? It went into ultra protector mode, dad mode, husband mode. Like, what do they need from me right now? And it never occurred to me that I have the right to grieve too. Because what my mind was thinking was, I didn't carry a baby. I'm not going to have to deliver a baby. I don't have a right to feel like I lost anything. That baby wasn't a part of me as much as it was a part of Sonja. So you don't get to grieve. You take care of her. She's the one that did everything. So you take care of her. That's the end of it.
Now that you're on the other side, I love what you're saying right there.
Mm.
Now that you're on the other side of this story, and if you could go back and talk to yourself, what would you say?
Take a minute. You were entitled to grieve just as much as Sonja. That baby was just as much a part of you as it was Sonja. And you can allow yourself a minute to sit here and you can have a pity party. You can sulk in this for a little bit. This is a big deal. Don't feel like you have to just move on. Don't.
You can let yourself feel it.
Exactly. Yeah. Feel all of this. Sit there and not be immersed in it, but feel it. Remember what this feels like so that you can remember it, you know? But at that point in time, it just never occurred to me to do that. So I would tell myself, just sit down for a second. Be with your wife. Like, not only let her cry on your shoulder, you cry with her.
Let me ask you another question. I think this may be helpful for men and husbands that may be listening. But looking back, if Nick had stepped out of the room, or if you had, found him in the backyard weeping, or would you have looked down on him for that, or would that make you feel like, well, what about me? You're not taking care of me.
I think it just made me love him even more to know that he feels and he felt what I was feeling, and that we were on the same page about our emotions. So
I think at one point you did ask me, like, are you even sad? Because I was just still doing stuff and trying to take care of stuff and hadn't really stopped and sat down and did anything. I think it was when we were at the hospital. It was either when we were at the hospital or after we got home from the hospital. But you seemed kind of upset that I hadn't sat down and really taken this all in. So,
do you remember that? I know for you, and for you, you are the human that's being examined medically, devices, and instrumentation around you. So there's so much sensory overload for you. Do you remember that Nick just mentioned?
To be honest, not 100%. I don't know. Totally it sounds like something I would have said though.
Yeah, in the moment.
Yeah.
What wife ever admits to being angry with us?
Now, how did that make you feel when she asked you?
It made me kind of feel like I pissed her off by not sitting down and, crying for, an hour or 2 hours or something like that. I mean, granted, I sat down with her, let her cry and held her and all the things, but
maybe it makes me feel like at the time that I was overreacting.
Yeah.
I don't know, that maybe my emotions were more than what they should have been. I don't know. That's what makes me kind of think.
Yeah.
There's a reason that I'm leaning on both of you on this dynamic right here. And so, I mean, I remember the conversations that you and I were having during this time. But I think for those who are listening, I think that this is the nitty gritty of when these things happen, particularly when we're married.
Yeah.
This is where the damage can happen. This is where the misunderstanding can happen. This is where the breakdowns can happen. And so something I really love that you're saying, Nick, that, you know, if I could really highlight for the men who are listening, is that though we don't carry the child in our physical body, that doesn't mean that we carry them less in our heart and our emotions. And so for those who are experiencing this, there is a tremendous amount of pain, confusion that men can feel. And sometimes I love that you said numb. I know as a husband, there's been things I have faced that I'm like, am I broken because I don't feel this right now the same way that my wife feels this? And then, Sonja, I think you said something so critical. And I know that you don't remember it clearly, but I think for so many wives, because men and women are different, there can be like a disconnect. Like, do you feel what I feel? And both of you have said, if you could go back and talk to yourselves again, what you would say to each other is, it's okay for both of us to feel this. I love what you said, Sonja, about like, if I could go back, I would say to past Sonja, it's okay, Nick, you can go out and cry or punch a wall or it's okay for you to hurt and to feel this. And you guys did a tremendous job walking through this, just in my humble opinion, as looking through the window of your life. You guys did a great job walking through this. And at the same time, I mean, I think that so many other couples that they need to hear these things of like, you know, it is okay for us both to hurt. And there is something to be said for husbands and wives that we're able to connect to each other and say, I'm hurting, or I don't know what I feel. I'm confused. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to do. It's okay to be honest with each other when this kind of pain and trauma comes into our life. So I want to just briefly kind of rewind. I love that we kind of took that rabbit trail. That was something I really wanted to be able to touch on today. But we're going back to, okay, now we're on the way to the hospital, day 2. And Sonja, you had said, you know, I had been praying and I've been hoping, we've been praying together. Something you had said is like, I'm almost pleading with God. And I was angry, you know, like, because I'd been prayed for that my baby would be healthy. And so I didn't even have that. Now I've been dealt an even more devastating piece of news. So we're on the way to the hospital. What are some things that you guys are feeling?
Like I said, I was kind of, you know, trying to manifest this miracle, right? I'm sitting there and I'm saying, they're going to be wrong. She's going to come out. She's going to be tiny, but she's going to be alive. She's going to be in the NICU, and we're going to get out of the NICU. It's going to be a miracle. You know, they're going to be shocked when you deliver her and she's crying because they're anticipating a dead baby. But then everybody's going to go into panic mode and try to scramble, trying to do all the stuff that you would do, right? That they wouldn't be prepared for because they're not expecting a living baby. And
did you feel that same way, Sonja?
Part of me hoped. I hoped that that's what they were going to do. And then the other part of me was, I knew, I have a medical background, you know, I knew that wasn't going to happen. I still hoped, but yeah, I knew that wasn't how it was going to be when we got there. And then I was also thinking about my other children. And I said, how am I going to tell them this? How am I going to break this to them? So my heart hurt for them too, because I had to go home and tell them that we weren't bringing home a sister and that she died.
What was the next year like after we've come home? You know, we're grieving, we're processing through these things, we're trying to walk our kids through this. What does the next year look like?
I took 2 weeks off of work, and I probably should have taken more, but I just thought I needed to get back to normalcy. I was like, if I stayed home, I would just dwell on it. And then I needed to get busy, just keep my mind off of it. And
Would you do it that way again if you had?
No, I definitely would have taken time for myself. And I would have stayed home and tried to heal a little bit more physically and emotionally and spiritually before I went back to work. But I didn't. So I had to deal with, like, you gained all this weight or gained all this weight. And I don't have a baby. I still can't fit into any of my clothes. So I'm still wearing these like postpartum or maternity clothes at work.
Seems like constant reminders.
Right. Yeah. So, and then you deal with the physical part. So like the postpartum hair loss. So even about 3 months afterwards, I started losing all this hair. And I said, this isn't fair. Again, I went back to that. And I got angry again. I remember being in the shower. I said, I don't have a baby. I have this huge medical bill. I'm losing my hair. I'm getting all the things that come with normal pregnancy and stuff. And but I don't have anything to show for it. It was heartbreaking.
I've got to ask, what's it like between you and God in the middle of that?
I tried really hard to grow closer to him. Because I remember having so many conversations and saying I could go one or two ways. I could go this way and my faith could be, I could grow apart from God and do this on my own. But what good will that do? And so then my other choice is to grow closer to God and lean on him and just giving it to God and asking him to heal me and to heal my heart, because I didn't want to feel that way anymore. I didn't want to feel sad all the time, and I didn't want to feel, I just didn't want to feel how I was feeling. I was tired of feeling that way.
Nick, what was it like for you that next year, spiritually speaking?
Finally, that grief caught up with me. And we lost Seela in November. And then we moved into the new house in December. And in February, I had a panic attack. It was like a perfect storm. I just heard about a friend from high school who passed away. I had strained a muscle in my neck and it triggered something in my chest. And then I got the shakes and did all this stuff. So I thought I was having a heart attack, and I woke Sonja up, and, I'm sitting there like, I'm panicking. Now I'm shaking. Now I'm crying. Now I'm doing all the things. I don't think I grieved properly. And I think it finally caught up with me, and it was, again, a perfect storm. So, and Sonja and I had that conversation at the hospital after they told me everything was fine. And then I had that conversation with my mom. And then I called you and I said, we've talked about this, but we haven't done it. So let's do some therapy. And I think sitting there and really having to force myself to unpack all of that grief helped to actually just live with it for a little bit and go through it actually months later and take time for myself to steal away and just think about what we lost and what it could have been and what it was, and throw a little pity party from time to time, and then be like, all right, man, and I'm out,
You come to terms with it.
Exactly. Like, I actually lost something. Not Sonja lost something, not the kids lost something. I lost something too. And being able to being able to realize that and come to terms with that, like, hey, I was a part of this, like giving myself that permission that we talked about earlier to feel all those feelings was big for me to actually start processing and start healing.
What I would say to any listener who's listening is that we would encourage you, we got Nick and Sonja here, we got the team here, but we would encourage you, let God in. Let each other in when you're married. And those are the mechanisms that God will use to restore us and to heal us, to prepare us for what he wants to do next
Mm-hmm.
in our lives. You guys decide to try again.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about how did that come about emotionally? What were you maybe feeling spiritually? Were you nervous? Were you scared? Were you excited? You tell me.
I think we just knew that we still wanted another baby. I wanted to fill that room. You know, we had that room, and I knew. I just felt like something was still missing from our family. It just wasn't complete, and so I think we just honestly, Nick is like, whatever you want to do, you want to. He kind of just put it on me, really.
It was more so because I just kept saying, like, I don't have to carry a baby.
Yeah.
Like, I get the fun part, right? So if you're up to carrying another baby and delivering another baby, all the things, I'm all in. You tell me, I'm not going to force you one way or the other. So that was kind of a cop-out, but it was also like how I really felt.
That's right. I hear you trying to be sensitive to your wife.
Exactly. Knowing that she was still processing this and I was as well.
Sonja, what were some of the things that you were feeling?
So there was excitement and hope. You know, I knew in my heart that we were going to have another one. I just knew it. Our family wasn't complete. But I was terrified. I was so scared. What if this happens again? They told us that it was a fluke. You know, they said it was what she had was not genetic and hereditary. That it was just a fluke in the development. Something happened, and that's what caused the mutation. So I think I had that in my mind too. I have 2 healthy children. So that doesn't, God did it then, he can do it again.
Yeah. You guys are successful.
Mm-hmm.
We conceive again.
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
So we did
miscarriage.
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
7 weeks in. So there was, I don't want to say there was concern, but there was just like, at that point, because it was only 6 weeks and we didn't have to go through the whole labor process and all these kinds of things, I was more so, I was still optimistic. I was like, we'd been through that before between Sydney and Noah. So I was like, well, we've done this. We can do this again, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But I'm still optimistic that we can get this. We can have a healthy baby. A little bit of frustration. I know Sonja was frustrated slightly because it was still fresh in our minds about losing Selah. And there was doubt there about there's something wrong with either of us. Or not doubt, there was feelings there's something wrong with either of us. How come we can't bounce back?
So you went eventually to try again.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit, what's going on in you spiritually and emotionally that you say, we're going to try again?
I feel like I actually, from that year and from that time, I feel like I was growing in my faith, in my spirit. We had gone on a marriage retreat during that time too, and I feel like that was a great thing for us to do because they kept saying, like, you got to get right with the vertical. Mm-hmm. And so I remember that really sat with me. And then we started doing devotionals in the morning together at that point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we were waking up. We had like prayer together, devotionals, and we were growing in our faith. And I think it was after that is actually when we got pregnant. Yeah.
So now, since this story has began, so now this will be this is your 3rd pregnancy. Mm-hmm. What are you feeling when you find out I'm pregnant again?
Yeah. We were so excited, but so scared. Mm-hmm. I was hyper aware of everything. Mm-hmm. Every single thing that my body did. Pregnancy after loss is so hard. Mm-hmm. It's so hard.
Why while you were facing all of that anxiety, what were you holding on to, spiritually speaking? How did you make it through that?
That, God didn't give us a spirit of fear, and I had to just tell myself that He's going to see me through it and to give it to Him. Keep showing up. Keep praying. Keep my faith.
So how long was it for the listener between when we lost Selah to when we successfully delivered?
Just over 2 years, I think, because it was
November of 21 to August 23rd.
Yeah, so just under 2 years.
Yeah.
So after 2 years of processing grief, facing anxiety, surrendering, disappointment to the Lord, unanswered questions, you've watched your children process grief. You had to face the disappointment of another miscarriage. So after that 2 years, you faced COVID. We all know what a nightmare that was for everyone. After 2 years of all of this, successful delivery.
Yeah.
And just for the listener, the name of your new child is
Soraya Hope.
Sonja Hope White. So when they put Soraya in your arms and she's healthy, what are you feeling?
Just overwhelming gratitude. Just joy. Can't believe it's finally here. I still felt a little guilt that I was still a little sad that she didn't have her older sister there. I don't know how to explain this, but I was so excited and so happy. I think I'm trying to say you can still have sadness and joy at the same time. You can still be sad and miss your other loved ones, and I could miss Selah, but I'm still grateful and so happy and overwhelmed with joy that God gave us another chance to be a parent.
Nick, what were you feeling that day when we delivered? Not we, but the day that Soraya was delivered.
Much of the same, just joyful. I was really, and the same with each of the other deliveries, I was just, making sure everything's okay. But there was something about when Soraya got here that it was just a little bit sweeter, just in the sense of everything we'd gone through.
Yeah.
And now she's here and she's healthy and everything. She wasn't crying at first. So there was a little bit of, wait a minute. And then she started and then she didn't stop. So, so that was like that moment of, and then I could breathe and be like, okay.
Yeah.
So for those who are listening who may not know Soraya, I'm assuming that she's healthy and
Yes.
going through life.
Oh, yes.
Living life and loving it.
Yes. She's
Now the room in the house is filled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your children
They love
are
her.
able to finally welcome a new sibling.
Mm-hmm.
So how many, just for the listeners, how many now children do you have?
Three.
Yeah.
Looking back now, all these years later, you've been blessed, beautiful, healthy baby girl. What advice would you give to parents and couples that they have experienced the loss of a miscarriage in similar fashion, and they're grappling with the questions, the disappointment, they're grappling with their faith? If you had one piece of advice that you would give to those couples, what would you say?
For the men, it is perfectly fine to feel those feelings and allow yourself to grieve and walk through that. Not alone, walk through it with your wife. And if you have other children, with your children. It's okay to feel like you need to be that protector and that provider and all that. That's perfectly fine. But also take that time for yourself to just sit with that.
Don't give up faith. Don't give up hope. like I said earlier, you can choose, you have a choice on how you handle any situation. You can go up or you can go down, or, you know, whatever outcome you want might not happen. You know, you might not get the end result that you prayed for. But God is going to see you through it. And there is more for your story. There's more to your story. There's more for your life. And just follow him. Just follow Jesus and let him lead you to where he has planned for you. Don't give up hope, though. You know, keep praying. It's such a hard thing to tell people.
Let me ask you,
so,
is it worth it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always worth it, I would say. To be on the other side of it and have 3 healthy children, and one of them who's, you know, doesn't even know what we had to go through to get her.
Just a miracle.
A literal miracle baby, as Marsha, like Miss Marsha likes to say. So,
Would you say today that your faith is stronger?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
And it's unfortunate that was the circumstances that we had to go through to strengthen our faith.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, God has a plan, and he has a reason why we had to go through that. And if that's what had to happen for us to grow closer together and closer to God, and he has our baby in heaven and we will get to meet her one day, then it was well worth it.
Yeah. And then I'm grateful that we were able to share our story. So I don't know, give others hope. And so that even if it just helped one person, it would all be worth it.
Yeah.
Like all of this, if it was just to lead one person closer to God, then I feel like our baby in heaven will have been worth it.